whisper, ramble. This is a custom ASMR video of 30 minutes booked by Brianna. Thank you, Brianna, for booking your appointment today on my website, TonyBomboni.com. If you would like to book your own personal custom ASMR service, it's a popular pick right now, so go ahead and sign up for many other services as well. If you have any questions for me, you can simply DM me on Instagram at ASMRER or email me at alienreikimaster@gmail.com if you're having any issues with my website whatsoever, or you're running into a problem signing up. It should be pretty simple and straightforward and easy, but nonetheless, I'm always here to answer any questions you have about my services. Okay, so use the links below and sign up today. Use that coupon code TONY2 for 20% off. So let's begin. So today she wanted me to talk about my experience with my gifts of channeling, being psychic, intuitive, a medium, those kind of things, right? And where it all began, how I realized I had them, and what's special and extraordinary about this video, they actually booked an hour-long custom ASMR video. So they booked the hour personalized ASMR session on my website, but they would like only half an hour on this channel, the other half an hour to be gifted to a poopsie. So that's very kind and generous of you, Brianna, and I thank you for that. So if you leave a comment with your Instagram handle, or if you prefer to remain anonymous, because not everyone wants to put their Instagram handle out there like that, you can go ahead and DM me on Instagram, and I'll pick one random person to receive this free 30-minute video of your choice. So it can be a reading, it can be anything, an ASMR video, maybe anything like that, right? So I'll pick one person, so go ahead and DM me or leave a comment. Okay, so there's that. So let's continue. So this is going to be a 30-minute video, and the other 30-minute gifted to a poopsie. So thank you, Brianna, for that. That's very kind of you. So let's begin. So I will be talking about my gifts. So it feels weird, kind of show-offy calling them gifts. I don't like saying that because I always learned early on that you cannot claim to heal someone, right? And I do believe I have multiple gifts. I don't just have the gift of channeling. I have the gift of healing. I have the gift of, that's why I got into Reiki and stuff like that, because at a very early age, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I've never really done a whole video on this subject. I had the ability to heal with my hands. As odd as that sounds to you, fine. You don't have to believe me. I'm not here to prove myself to anyone. Yeah, so anytime I would even just touch someone, it's, for some people, it would be like an instantaneous healing and an instant relief of their problem, which I believe we all have, right? To different degrees. Mine just happens to be more extreme case. It's a biological energy that emits from the body that causes healing, which, some people could say Reiki. Reiki is more the art and practice of healing. It's a specific type of healing, or art or craft of healing. So I wouldn't say it's Reiki, because Reiki doesn't just come through unless you channel it to come through, if that makes sense. This is something from my body that emits a healing, therapeutic energy. And by the way, you might think recently I've had an obsession with filming in closets, as you can see. No, it's literally because they are digging a huge hole in front of my house. They're still doing construction. I thought they were done because they laid out the sod. I guess I was wrong. So, yeah, you might hear some shaking and noise. Again, I apologize. I know you guys always say, Tony, shut up. I don't mind the noise. It's okay. Calm down. I'm like, relax. Okay, fine. Don't point fingers at me. I'm just trying to be nice, but I don't want to bother anyone. But yeah, I'm just pointing that out. That's why I'm filming in closets, I guess, as of late. Okay, but anyways, because it sucks up the noise, the clothes, and I'm in a far area from the house, so you don't have to hear that noise. Let's move on, guys. So, at an early age, when I would put my hands on someone, like to massage them especially, their issue would tend to go away. next day, like the issue would be basically cut in half, at least, and it'd be like a lot of times a big issue, like a flare-up or inflammation in their body. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just intuitively knew where to massage, where to dig in my hands. And I didn't know this until I got into actual massage school in 2015, that I had actually a calling or a gift, right, as they say. I wouldn't say a calling, because I actually, believe it or not, didn't enjoy massage that much, because it was so draining for me. No matter what techniques I'd use, I would just feel like under my eyes, like the bags, I would just feel so tired and drained energetically. So I never really enjoyed massage that much. I don't mind touching people or interacting with them in that therapeutic way, but like sometimes you get rough clients that like just want you to dig hard, and I'm a tiny person, like I can't just dig in their big muscles that hard, you know what I mean? Like it's just, I have the strength, but like, it takes a lot of body mechanics and good posture to do it so you don't hurt yourself, and I felt like I was draining myself energetically doing massage. So I knew there was a way I could heal the world without draining myself so much. Unfortunately, I had to kind of tweak it a bit. I'll get to that soon. I'll talk about how I transferred from massage to Reiki instead. But I never did massage therapy as a paid service. Never once have I charged for massage. I always did it for free. Out of just, I guess, that kindness. I guess that's like, you have to help people, right? I really enjoy helping people. That's a big, deeply rooted value I have since a child, I know that's why I'm here. I know that's what I'm called to do, so I don't have to do one specific thing to help people. There's many ways I can help. I can help through advice. I can help through sharing a story. I can help through relaxing people now. I can help through giving a reading. I can help, countless times I'm like donating to people. I don't talk about it because that's like not something you talk about, but I help in many different ways, right? So that's what I enjoyed to do, and I feel that's what my calling is. And I realize, yes, I may have gifts, but I don't have to stick to one specific gift or thing. There's a reason I have multiple gifts, you see what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes I have the gift to manifest too, we all have these gifts, right? And some people manifest faster than me, some people slower. It just depends, I sucked at manifesting at first. It was very slow for me at first, so like, yeah. And there's a confusion, like, is this just luck, or is it, so like you can't really say what a God-given gift is. You can know in your heart what it is, but you can't know for sure until, I guess, it's your time to go from this planet, right? But anyways, I know I come from the higher dimensions, like we all do. I know my place. I know where my soul resides from. I know my home, when I go back home. So like, that gives me a lot of peace, and I know I can bring those higher powers and energies and call upon those angels in that way. So it's a deep subject, right? Like, you may not have the gift, but you can channel, let's say, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, Ariel. There's so many angels, and their gift and ability will help guide you. And the more you work with this stuff, that's why I always recommend people book more readings and healings. I'm telling you, it will open your third eye chakra and enable you to tap in more to yourself and change you as a person for the better. So the more readings you do, the more psychic you become. So I'll get to the psychic part in a bit, but I want to finish on the healing note first. So my teacher, my massage instructor, and I'll never forget this, she basically just sat me down when we were doing like an exam. It was a massage exam where we massage a body, that sounds crazy, a person's body, right? And we get graded, and I guess I did an A-, I think, whatever. And I was told that she asked everyone, she interviewed everyone in the class about my touch, my specific style of touch. And she said every single person of the 10 people in that class said there was something special about me, and I'm so sorry, the whole house is vibrating. Literally my butt is shaking. I can feel my butt tingling, and my feet. The whole house is vibrating, y'all. Okay, consider it a vibration massage ASMR. Yikes. Okay, but anyways, that is so funny. It feels like I'm getting massaged and I'm talking about massage. I feel like I'm on that nail salon back massage chair right now. My whole spine is tingling. Actually, I'm getting tingles right now. Thank you, construction workers. Thank you for blessing us with the tingles, auntie. Okay, but anyways, you gotta make positive and make do, right? Yeah, of a bad situation. So anyway, moving on. You gotta laugh at life, laugh your way through life, right? Oh my gosh, my feet. Okay, that actually feels really nice. Feels like a foot bath. So let me not get distracted. She said every person in that classroom said I had to give. I broke down, y'all. I broke down sobbing profusely because I knew what she was talking about right away. When she said that, I knew. It wasn't a shock like, oh my gosh, really? I have a gift? What are you talking about? Wow. No, honey, I knew. I had this all my life. So, they say even like how you know your children are special and have a gift, they may be able to levitate objects. Objects will move around them, and that's freaking with me. My energy is very crazy. It just exudes outwards. You feel it right away. So a lot of times when I'm walking by stores, people knock over their things all the time around me. Every time, every day. It happens constantly. When I walk by someone, they drop something, like constantly. My energy just pushes things out the way. And I've had intuits tell me that too. My energy just pushes them. It almost like it just like forces them to move. It's very, I won't say violent, but it's very strong, you know? So I definitely affect electricity. When I'm angry, the lights flicker. You know, I've been told before I even enter a place, when I set intention that I'm going to go to their house, or even I think about their house, their lights start flickering, the power goes on and off. And, you know, I don't know what that is, what higher powers are with me. I've always been told to have very, very, very high powers with me, a very strong, big spiritual team, which I know I do. I've done channelings too to confirm this. I've talked with them, you know. I think, again, like, it's not just me, it's like everyone has their team, right? But it doesn't mean that it's like better than, smarter than, you know, more impressive, more experience. It's just where your soul's at, you know. So I guess, you know, my team's very important and special, and I try to work with them and see what they have to say to me, you know. It's very hard to connect with them sometimes, though, as a human here. Sometimes you have doubts in your mind, like, is this real? Is this who I am? You know, is this something I'm supposed to be learning or focusing on? You know, because I don't think I'm any better than anyone, any special than anyone. I have pretty low self-esteem, first of all. So, what makes me so damn special, you know? But, overall, it just what it is, I guess, you know? As they say, God chooses the unqualified, right? So, but, yes, it was not hard for me to remain humble during times of learning about my gifts and abilities, because I already knew, you know, as a kid, I already felt important, special, different, unique. You know, I was always bullied in school. I was always just called weird and different. And that's, you know, commonly the indigo children, as they call them, the crystal children are referred to as that, as different, as oddballs, black sheep. I was always black sheep of the family, unlike anyone. I always felt alien. I always felt like I didn't belong. And so come to find, you know, yeah, I even have like a past life as an alien. So it's like, you know, there's definitely a connection, a deep-rooted connection there. And so on our soul journey, we're going to learn a lot. And this is, I think, part of my journey, learning who I am. And so, you know, I could go on and on. There's so many things I saw myself as, like a storm, a black hole, a blade of grass, a hedgehog, a woman in a Anyway, so our soul has so many different levels and layers, and they're all living sometimes at the same time. I saw myself in the future as a woman too. Yeah, I saw myself as a light being. I saw myself as an angel. So much. I could go on and on. So yeah, this is just the next step in the journey. So I guess this is technically my past life, because I saw so many future lives of being an angel, being an alien, you know what I mean? More evolved, a light being. That's all future lives. So it's kind of funny that it's all like now at the same time. It's so hard to comprehend our universe, but I think when you tap in more to your true soul, your past, present, and future self, you gain your power back, and you are more complete, more whole as a person, and nothing can stop you, nothing can break you. You know, you're unbreakable, you're indestructible, basically, on a soul level. I understand that's too much for some people to bear. Like, one time I made a video talking about Dolores Cannon and aliens and our evolution, and for some people it was so much, they're like, but this goes against Darwin's theory of evolution and what have you. And you know, I think to some degree it's not that we were lied to, it's this, we're misinformed, you know, and we don't want to look deeper. You know, we just want to look at a textbook and what a teacher says, but not in what our soul and our heart says. And I think that's where all of our global issues arise from, right? You have to connect with what connects with you, right? Not what someone tells you what to do. Not a control freak energy telling you, oh, you have to sit down, shut the F up, and listen to what I have to freaking say. Really? You know? So I will never tell people what to do. I will never tell people this is the way, this is the answer. You know, I'm always the one saying, follow your heart's wisdom. You know, that's your answer. It's not what Tony says. It's not what your teacher says, right? I sometimes talking and whispering to your plush toy teddy bear, you get all the answers from there. Anyway, so maybe that's too deep. But like I was saying, you know, it's time to have childlike imagination. You know, children channel, listen to your kids. You know, what are they saying? Are they saying Jesus is coming back? Then he probably is. You have to listen to your children. You know what I mean? What do they say? Are they saying an angel came by their window and said hello? It probably did. You should listen to your children. Okay? Alright, because they're more tapped in. But anyway, because there's a veil, right? There's a veil over the earth and we forget. It's this reality is so much, it's fake, right? It's an illusion. It's like a matrix. So, if you let it distract you, you lose sight of yourself. So that's why I enjoyed doing these readings, and that's why I started doing the readings, is because I really wanted to connect with people one-on-one and help them personally. You know, it's not enough to do these videos. It really isn't, you know. I felt it was time, and that was my calling, to do these readings, to do these healings, to start helping people hardcore. And it's worked, and there's a reason, you know, people constantly book, is because I know this is doing of service to humanity, of my collective higher calling. My guides, my counsel, my team are helping me reach people, you know. I can't just do it on my own, from my own voice, from my own two lips. Like I channel, you know. I channel them, I channel God, and I always call upon God while doing my readings, and he is my biggest support, and I love him so dearly and so deeply, and he's helped through so much, you know. And just that connection, you know, I can't explain, it's just a feeling. And I'm gonna get into now, I guess, the more psychic aspect rather than healing. So the healing I now include in my Reiki healing, right? So instead of massage, I now do Reiki. I studied Reiki. I loved it, you know. I was so excited to start. I didn't start actually charging for healings until 2 years after learning about it, because I wanted to practice, you know, and make sure I'm pretty good and solid there. But I do distant healing, so yes, you can receive distant healing. It's one and the same, just like healing in person. And I could now work with my hands and actually help send healing. Unfortunately, the first 2 or 3 years, I kind of burned myself out doing it, because I didn't know how to take breaks between sessions. I would just want to jump to the next service, and I was excited. I'm like, some days, I get like so many readings and healings that I'd just be like overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I guess it was that anxiety, like I have to get these done as fast as possible. People are relying on me, people are waiting on me. Honestly, people would rather a quality session than a rushed one. So I learned to, take more breaks, take more time off, and, really give them a good service rather than just jumping into the next appointment and being so drained. And so whenever I notice my voice getting really low and I start talking slow and I feel sleepy, I'm like, okay, this is my last reading for the day. I need to take a break, right? So, yeah. So I found that like I didn't burn out anymore. I learned that I just needed to take more breaks, eat better, eat healthier, go outside more, and sleep more. I didn't have to be that 6 a.m. person waking up every morning early to, not for me. I learned that's, not the path to health for me. I need my sleep, so, yeah, I'm happiest when I have plenty of sleep, and, yeah, so there's that. So you live and you learn. But now moving on to my psychic ability. So my psychic ability, I've always had some deja vu. As a kid, I've had a lot of deja vu dreams. Countless times. It would freak me out because I'd be like, I just dreamt about this and now I'm experiencing it. Why am I tapping into the future like that? It's so creepy. It's literally like, it made me so uncomfortable. I almost hated it. I was like, ew. Like, I kept trying to push it away because I was like, this is so creepy. Why did I literally just dream this and it just happened this exact way? So, I guess I kept blocking it. And 2017, bam, my wake up call. I was like, I can't ignore this anymore. I was tapping into every single thing. It was scary. That was extreme psychic awareness and ability. Extreme. Where I lost sleep. I was so creeped out by it. I was like, what is going on? What is happening? What is this? And I didn't know how to explain it. And then I noticed like my divine consciousness. I was just pure consciousness. I think that's why I went crazy during that time, because I literally was like manically tapping in. Like when you're manic, you tap in. I don't know if you know that, but you tap in like crazy when you're manic. Like everything makes sense. You realize you're in a matrix. You realize everything. You just know everything. You can read minds. It's creepy. Okay. So just because you're manic, like calm down. You don't need to just right away. This is not advice, but right away, like swallow something to make it go away. No, like sit in that for a moment. Like there's a reason you're channeling, right? Just calm down, breathe deeply, hold a crystal right away. Like whenever I have an episode like that, I immediately grab some amethyst. I breathe deeply immediately. I play some soft music or ASMR. I breathe deeply. I go outside. I'm like, okay, just relax. In and out. It's just like an exciting feeling. It's a euphoria. It's like a bliss. I can't explain, but sometimes that's when I tap in the most. But on a normal day, I'll tap in with, like I said, just intuiting. Most times I'll just intuit before a client's booking. Like they book and then 5 minutes I'll spend just like, oh, that's what's happening. I don't even really need to even read the message. I'll know right away. I'll be like, oh, they're having a love issue. They're struggling with their partner and there's something with money involved. Bam. And that ends up what it is. So I don't necessarily need tarot cards, candle wax, or coffee grinds to tell me what's going on. I use it as a tool and a guide to tap in more and to see more that I couldn't see just on my own, because just me scribbling there, sitting there with scribbles, I can only do so much of that. Sometimes I need my spiritual team to give me guidance through the cards, and there's that. And it creates ASMR for some people. It's a style of reading, so if they book that reading, they want that style of reading. I respect that, but yeah. But anyway, so I didn't really do anything about it until 2019. I was like, I really felt called to start providing paid services for healing and readings, and I haven't looked back. And that's just been a great way to not only support the channel, support any issues you're going through and dealing with, and it makes me so happy to do them. I definitely enjoy doing them so much. Every day I look forward to doing them, and yes, it's work, but what isn't, you have to make a living somehow, right? At first there was that like pride of like, oh no, I don't need to do this, I can just live off YouTube, and but I find more joy doing these services. I really do, and it's more rewarding, and what can I say? Even though some months I probably made more just doing YouTube and sponsorships, I was willing to cut that out to do what makes me happier, to me, like, there's so many people that live horrible, miserable quality lives. Like, I'm just thinking, just like right now, off the top of my head, like one person in specific I knew who they just lived alone. There's no partner, there's no love there. They were just a horrible person, honestly. And they were just not the nicest person, and they just upgraded in their career, from, let's say, $80,000 a year to $250,000 a year. And this man just kept drinking and just kept buying things to fill that void. And this man just almost became like a shriveled up raisin, They were so burnt out, they kept sleeping. That's all they could do is sleep. They didn't even want to like hang out and spend time with me. It just, there was nothing there anymore, They had no energy to give left. It was just, their whole life was thinking about their job. All they talk about is their career and getting ahead, to the point where they were even praying that someone in their job passed away from cancer so that they could get their position and make more money. Are you freaking kidding me? So when I learned that there were horrible people out there like this, I was like, it gave a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, this is not worth it, We really have lost our humanity. And I even asked them, like, aren't you worried about their health? Like, don't you wish they got better? It'll make me double the money. What? So that's when I realized I don't like, child, I think some people really are reptilian. I think some people just are not from this earth. It just gives you the chills. So that's when I realized I was different than these kind of people. And I'm not saying everyone who makes $250,000, $1 million a year, whatever, is a bad person. Clearly not. I'm saying, when it just consumes you and becomes everything and all you talk about, that's when it's a problem, And that's when it gets scary. And I had to learn to live in balance, right? I had to learn that I'm not just YouTube, right? For the longest time, my identity was I'm a YouTuber, right? And, I had to prove myself to someone. And again, the pride thing was like, oh, me offering Reiki healing and tarot reading, that takes me out of being just a YouTuber now, a famous YouTuber. And now they're going to think like, that, who knows what they think, that like it's just a money grab, or I'm not getting as much views as I used to. All these thoughts ran through my head, but I was like, I'm not gonna let that stop me. I'm actually going to some people, look like taking a step backwards, but for me it was actually taking 10 steps forward. And I was right, and that's what it did. And unfortunately, a lot of people that didn't find a backup ended up stopped doing YouTube because it wasn't enough anymore, I'd say times got tough on YouTube. For a long time, it's starting to get better now, but like for the longest time, I had to do other ways and means to figure it out. So how could I help people? It was always in my mind. How can I use my gifts and help people at the same time? And that's what my website, Bomboni.com, is all about. And it makes me so happy. And I wanted to contribute to my happiness. I was not happy, And when I made like, let's say $10,000 a month, right? On average, like, in total, overall, like that. When I got to that point, I'm like, 100,000 a month won't even make me happy. If it don't make me happy at 10, it's not gonna make me happy at 100, obviously. So I had to figure out a way to kind of, obviously still make money and pay the bills and live, but also to find happiness. And that's a big portion why I wrote Everything Happened in 2019, right? I wrote the book Finding Your Alignment because I share with you my experience and what I went through, so you don't have to go through the same hardship. You could just right then and there learn, like, hey, this is the way, this is the path forward, this is your guidebook, your map to figure out to live a happy, balanced life and not end up like those horribly miserable people who just focus on their paycheck, go home and sleep, and then rinse, repeat. Like, I also just, part of me just like refuses to live that way, to live in a office, honestly, a 9 to 5, like, I fought so long to just not be that, and not trade my time for money in that way, which for me will be soul crushing, because for some empathic people with spiritual gifts, those careers are just not for them. And, it's just that soul crushing, because you're not filling your purpose. I'm not here to be in that box, right? Some people are. Some people, that's where they thrive. They have huge, amazing jobs that are fulfilling, and they are sociable, and they, are happy, and that's them, Not everyone, though, right? So for me, knowing me and how I react to things, that would not make me happy, right? It does not make me happy looking at all the gold and silver I have, and all the money in my bank, and all the assets I have, and all the clothes in my closet. Like, on and on I could go. That does not do shit for me. I'm sorry. It doesn't, right? What makes me happy is being around people who love me, helping people, my partner, obviously, having love in my life, and being able to connect with you. So, yeah, for the longest time, I did things for the wrongest reasons, and that's why I couldn't tap into my gift. Once I started flipping the script and doing things for the right reasons, I think that's when my gift started and began more and more profound and abundantly. So, yeah, so I realized in life, as long as you feel your purpose, you will always be blessed. You will always be abundant. God will always bless you, and I didn't need to answer your question, realize I had a gift. I already knew. I just didn't know how to get there. I had to mature. I had to grow in years. I had to live life and get hurt to, scrape my knees, so to speak, to learn, oh, that's not the way. Anytime you get off the path of your purpose, life is more painful. So sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I feeling my purpose? And that's a common question I get for tarot readings. What's my purpose? Am I doing my purpose? You can ask that question and we can dive deep, but at the end of the day, we come to find, hey, if our lives are not in order, if our ducks are not in a row, a lot of times it's like there's something off there. You're not really in alignment with exactly what you should be doing as of yet. But don't worry, you're on the path, because sometimes I had to be on a bumpy path to realize what my purpose was. So it doesn't mean you're not living your purpose. It means you're on the way to your purpose, but you have to go through the hardship first, like I did. I had to go through, honestly, some days, like, can I even eat? Can I even buy that cup of coffee, because I'm so broke and destitute, but, I still have to keep going somehow, right? So, yeah. So you have to go through your worst to find your best. I believe in life, and I think that's, part of the calling I had too, is like experiencing everything, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? And, so yeah, just never forget your purpose, never forget what they call your mission statement, right? Why you come here. And when you focus on that, when you just ask the universe, what's my gift, what's my blessing, please God, please universe, please source, tell me, spirit team, angels, guide me, what is it I should be doing? The answers will come, I promise you. Set that intention and it shall rise. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you Brianna again for booking. And don't forget to leave a comment, DM me for your chance for a free 30-minute ASMR. This is not a contest. This is not anything of the sort. I'm just literally just picking one random person to get this free reading because that's what Brianna said. They offered out of the kindness of their heart. So yeah. That was my experience with my gifts, and now I realize I had them. And obviously, doing more readings and healings with time, people kept saying, wow, this happened, this came true, this happened, this came true. Obviously, that's going to reconfirm my belief that this works, and this is for people, and this is the right thing to do, and it's what I'm meant to be doing right now. So, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to use my gifts to help you guys. I love you all so deeply and so much, and I will see you all very soon. Make sure you subscribe if you want more story time like this, and I'll see you all very soon.